control freak, type A personality, workaholic, perfectioner. My name is Kara, and I'm a perfectioner, perfectionist, entrepreneur. We are a new breed of entrepreneurs who struggle to find balance in our lives. Perfectioners have the drive of other entrepreneurs with a big helping of perfectionism, a generous scoop of self-criticism, a cup of imposter syndrome, and a dash of poor boundaries. Perhaps you can relate. Studies show that perfectionism has been on the rise since the 1980s. That experience of wanting things to be perfect, to be seen as perfect, and to have that feeling that we can't afford to make a mistake. The world is watching. Mistakes can make everything come crashing down around us. Mistakes that invite in our inner critic and imposter syndrome to the party. These uninvited guests make us question our worth. It's the push-pull between perfectionism and being human that is the moral fiber of the millennial and Gen Z generations. These two generations are trying to have it all and achieve work-life balance. College students, young professionals, graduate fellows, medical students. These are my people. As a professor, I teach them, and as a mental health therapist, I empower them. I relate to their struggle. We are the same. Together, we are part of a generation that has been encouraged to stand out, make an impact, and do what we love. Driven to find our why and achieve our goals, we don't know how to be bored. We don't like it. In fact, it can lead to some pretty dark thoughts and feelings for some people. An internal torture about joy, purpose, happiness, fulfillment. This plays on repeat in our minds into the late hours of the night. So we've chosen to be busy over bored. It feels safer. But is it really? Perfectionism, pressure, and lack of social connection are the making suicide more possible for our youngest generations. Boredom feels so foreign now that it actually breeds both physical and emotional discomfort. Going from 60 miles an hour to binge watching a show all weekend, we feel like we've been hit by a truck. I've had this feeling, and it isn't anything close to balance. I have to admit, I can't go more than 4 hours without doing something productive. Luckily, I'm my own boss, and I have a spouse who understands me and my desires to be creative. It's a fine line to walk to feel productive and balanced. We can work so hard at something that we make ourselves sick. That's part of my story, even as a mental health professional. Finding myself in burnout and illness, knowing I needed something to change. I was embarrassed to admit how bad it had gotten. Burnout can feel sneaky this way. Add social media to the mix, and we find that we're comparing ourselves to others, wondering what's wrong with us when we don't feel happy or fulfilled. What are we missing? What can we do? Wanting to feel only the good feelings and avoid the bad, finding ourselves labeled the most anxious and depressed generation the world has ever seen. A generation fighting perfectionism, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. A therapy generation. A generation with core beliefs that say we're only as good as what we do, what we produce, who we help. To quote a popular burnout book, we are suffering from human giver syndrome, giving our all to others, to work, to school. I have this core belief too. I know now that it was the perfect storm to experience burnout when I did. Knowing my worth is wrapped up in what I do and choosing a helping profession, it makes it hard to have boundaries and balance. I struggle to maintain the chaos I've created for myself, to keep it all going, until I couldn't. I was lucky enough to get my wake-up call before it was too late, before I got too sick to work, before my relationship crumbled. Through hard work and sheer stubbornness, I was able to move from workaholic to well-balanced. Then I started helping others to find their balance too. We can listen to Brene Brown, who suggests we remove our badges of busyness. We can heed Celeste Headley's call when she says challenge workaholic culture. I'm here to tell you we don't have to drive ourselves into the ground to succeed. I want to give you these same strategies for work-life balance to be one step closer to your best self. Tools like learning to do nothing in ways that boost your creativity, having boundaries to avoid burnout, and learning to go lean on lists to fight anxiety and overwhelm. Learning to ask yourself who's in your orbit to remove negative influences while building meaningful connections. Saying yes to creativity to the point of carving it out in your day, every single day. You need a streamlined set of skills that honors your work ethic and your why by giving you simple, impactful strategies to become more balanced. You can have it all and be healthy. I'm going to show you how.